Hello. So when I was thinking about what kind of product I wanted to make for this marketing presentation, I knew right away that I would want it to be something that helps safeguard the health of the community, no matter who it is. When I started looking through different things that the CDC had said, and one thing caught my eye that made me like kind of a cascade of other thoughts came through it. In one report from the CDC in which they analyzed a hospital in Wuhan, over half of the employees of the hospital, nurses, doctors, tested positive for COVID-19 on their shoes. And then I started to think, maybe this doesn't have to only happen in a hospital. It seemed like it might happen everywhere else as well. So I then made up this kind of a thought experiment. So you go to the store with masks, disposable gloves, hand sanitizer, everything you could possibly do to try and make it the safest trip to the store, because you need to go to the store, obviously. Someone who has COVID-19, regardless if they know it or not, also goes to the same store around the same time. It could even be many hours earlier, because as we know that COVID-19 can survive for a long time without a host. So their house is full of germs containing COVID-19, obviously, because even though they may or may not know they have it, they do. And they put on their shoes, touching them as they slip them on and tie them. Maybe picking them up too, if they take them off a shelf or from the ground. And the germs on their hand and in their house are then transferred onto the shoes, whether it's the top or the bottom of the shoe, the sole or the top. They then go into the store walking around with those shoes on that they put on from their house. The germs fall off of their shoes and onto the floor or into the air of the store. You go into the same store, maybe later, maybe at the same time, and walk on the same floor as they do, as well as come in contact with the same air that they have. And even though you won't ingest the germ right away because you have a mask on, and maybe they even had a mask on too, it'll still get onto your clothes and even onto your shoes, your skin, whatever is exposed. And also when you walk around on the floor, then it also will be coming from there onto your own shoes. Regardless if the person that had COVID-19 is wearing a mask or not, the other germs besides from their mouth are still able to get there that were in their house before and then onto their shoes, and now they're spread out into the store. You then breathe in the air when you go home, probably when you go home, because you do have a mask on at the store, or you go home and you take off your own shoes, you touch them to untie them and put them away, and you probably, even worse, walk around your house with the same shoes that you wore into the store, and you also might even put your feet up on a coffee table or something like that, where you might later set a drink or a snack that you're going to eat in front of the TV. In your head, in the trip to the store, you had been 100% safe, wearing a mask, wearing the gloves, taking the gloves off even before you left the store, because you know that wearing the same gloves around is very unsafe. But then when you go home, there's still germs that contain COVID-19 regardless of how safe you are. And obviously you can't not go on these to the grocery store, because that's essential. How would you eat otherwise? Despite your efforts, the contaminated germs have still penetrated into your household and into your daily life, regardless of what you have tried to do to stop. And it's very possible that you get sick from this. And I mean, that's the whole point of what we were doing, is to try and mitigate getting sick and spreading COVID-19. So with this thought in mind, and it's a scary one, because that shows just how easy it is for the germs to spread, regardless of how far-fetched it may seem. It's definitely not something that is impossible. I think that this kind of stuff is the way that the germ has still been able to spread, because we have been social distancing and quarantine, but still people are getting sick, and it's things like these that are the reason for that. So from that, the product I came up with was one that disinfects your shoes by you stepping into them, and then the apparatus will spray disinfectant onto your shoes and up to about your mid-calf above your ankle. This apparatus will use some disinfectant comparable to Lysol or something like that, maybe even a little bit more high-powered, but it's not going to soak your shoes like soaking them in bleach or something like that. It's just going to spray it on there, and that will kill almost all of the germs that are on your shoes. The product will be placed near the entrance of a business, or near the entrance of your home, outside the garage door or outside the front door. And that way, before you even step foot in your house, before you even take your shoes off, you are stepping into this apparatus that encloses and is airtight up to the mid-calf. So you step in and then it closes around you and it will spray the disinfectant, and once it is complete you can step out and your shoes will be entirely clean. Well, hopefully all the way clean, but there could be a chance that some survive, but it'll be a very significant portion of the germs will have been killed before you even go into your house. So like I said before, this will definitely be a health safeguard product, and it's able to kill germs that would normally be tracked into your house through pathways that many don't even believe could exist. But when you think about it, it's very easy for this to happen. Some competition for this product would include like maybe normal disinfectant sprays and wipes, but I think that they would require more work and would not be as successful as my machine in disinfecting this very specific area of your shoes around your feet where you have walked in other contaminated areas. I believe that because it would be very easy to make it simple, it would only cost around $50 to make and then be sold for around $100 to $150 because it would be very reusable. It's not like a one-time use thing. You just can refill the disinfectant as you keep using it up, but it'll still last for a very long time. The product would spray 360 degrees around your feet because it would be like you'd be sitting on a metal grate that underneath the disinfectant also sprays. So because someone might be concerned that there would be the bottom of the shoes wouldn't be clean, they still would, because it would be a metal grate and the disinfectant can penetrate through the holes in the metal. I would definitely want to sell this online for sure, and then hopefully into stores like Target and Walmart, and maybe it could be in like the as seen on TV section, because that seems like the kind of products that would end up there. The promotion would be extremely simple. I would start by showing the CDC study that I explained at the beginning and their recommendations, and then I would show them the scenario that I gave, maybe like in a video way, and that kind of highlights the germ spread and like visualizes that for everybody. And then it would be pretty simple after that. I would just explain and show my product, and then I think that would get people to definitely buy it. My product would be called Sneaker Cleaner. I think that it's a very interesting product because it kind of opens up a very specific, or it targets a very specific area of where germs could lie in terms of COVID-19, where a lot of the products now are kind of like multi-use, multi-purpose for cleaning off any surface. This is specifically for shoes, and I think that there's going to be a whole market that opens up for very specific things like that, because everyone knows that even once this coronavirus thing passes, everyone will still be very scared to kind of go out, and will still be a lot more focused on mitigating the spread of germs. They'll be a lot more careful about it than they were before, because it's hard to just kind of forget about everything that we've had to go through now once this is kind of past us. And I think that the whole world kind of like routine will definitely be changed because of this, and there's no reason that kind of like routinely disinfecting everything that you own is just going to stop now once coronavirus passes.